All right, ladies and gents, I want to walk you through using the table and knowing where the blocks are to figure out the filling order according to the Aufbau principle, the order that the sublevels will fill from lowest energy to highest energy. The first step we have to do for that is identify where each block is. We talked about groups 1 and 2 being our S block, and whatever row they are in, that is the S sublevel. So this is going to be our 1S, this is our 2S, 3S, 4S, 5S, 6S, and 7S. Okay? The next block we hit as we're going through the periodic table following the atomic numbers is we hit the P block over here. Just like the S block, whatever row of the table we find ourselves in, that's the sublevel we're at. So this is going to be our 2P, this is going to be our 3P, our 4P, 5P, 6P, and 7P. Now, as we discussed at the end of the previous video, the D block is our transition metals. They are one behind the row number. So we're in row 1, 2, 3. We're in the 4th row, but we're actually filling in the 3D. We're in the 5th row, but we're actually filling in the 4D. 5D is in the 6th row, and 6D is in the 7th row. And then we run into the F block. The F block is our lanthanides and actinides. In the 6th row, we're 2 behind the row number. This is going to be our 4F and our 5F. So, main thing that I need you to process at this point is know where the blocks are. Groups 1 and 2 are your S block. Transition metals 3 to 12, that's your D block. 13 through 18 is your P block. Your lanthanides and actinides are your F block. S and P are whatever row they're in. D's are 1 behind the row. F's are 2 behind the row. Now, what I want to walk through with you is the filling order. If we follow the atomic numbers as if they are the number of electron that's going into the cloud, it will walk us through the filling order. So numbers 1 and 2, remember we're going to put helium over at the top of group 2 for filling. 1 and 2 go into the 1S. So we start by filling. Our filling order starts with 1S. The first 2 electrons always go into the 1S. We go through numbers 3 and 4, put us in the 2S. Numbers 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, the next 6 electrons, they go into the 2P. And then we hit the 3S. That can hold 2. The 3P. That can hold the next 6. Numbers 19 and 20, that's our 4th row down S block, so that's our 4S. This is where we need to pay attention in that we're going to see a little bit of variation here. In the 4th row, after we fill the 4S, we go back and finish filling up the 3rd energy level. We're going to fill in the 3D. Okay? And then we jump back out to the 4P. Then we hit the 5S. And we drop back down and we start to fill in some more of the 4th energy level. We hit the 4D. And then we hit the 5P. Okay? Then we jump into the 6th row. We have 6S. And this is where we hit our F block. Remember, the F block is 2 behind. So after 6S, we fill in 4F, 5D, and 6P. Now we're at the end of the 6th row. We start the 7th row with 7S. Then we hit another F block. This time it's the 5F. We hit the 6D. And then finally we end up with our 118th electron, finishes out the 7P. That right there is the order of sublevels on the periodic table to hold 118 electrons, which is the highest number that we need. And we did that by knowing our blocks, knowing that we go from 1s to 7s here, 3d to 6d here, 2p to 7d here, and 4 and 5f. If you follow the atomic number through the table, knowing 1s, 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p, 4s, 1 behind, 3d, 4p, 5s, 4d, 5p, 6s, 4f, 2 behind, 5d, 6p, 7s, 2 behind, 5f, 6d, and 7p. That gives you the filling order that satisfies Aufbau principle, which basically says you have to fill up the 1s before you can put electrons into the 2s. You have to fill up the 2s before you get into the 2p, and so on. We will go through using that tomorrow to make what we call electron configurations. Now what I'd like you to do is bounce out of here, take the practice quiz, which is basically just a way to get your questions to you in the assignment, and we'll go through that together tomorrow.